Welcome to the first edition of the Friday Report here on InsideTheGrove.com. I'm Ty Alashewski. With me, as always, is Chase Parham. Earlier in the week, we brought you the Monday Report that kind of wrapped up the weekend in Rebel recruiting. Now we've lost the ties. We've gone casual for Friday, and we're going to bring you a preview of the weekend in Rebel recruiting. And Chase, let's jump right into it. There's 17 prospects on campus today. 3 of them are commits, and let's start right at the top with a pair of players from Noxubee County and Pat Patterson and Deontay Skinner.
Patrick Patterson definitely headlines the week, the wide receiver from Noxubee. You know, it's been kind of a weird thing with Pat. Everybody kind of says there's 5 schools in it, there's 2 schools in it. Well, Ole Miss is definitely in it. He's here this weekend. I personally think it's Ole Miss and Alabama at the top for Patrick. If he commits on signing day, I look for a really good push from Ole Miss and probably a signature. If he waits till after, there could be problems, as Mississippi State is still kind of lurking in the shadows a little bit, and I really don't think that's quite over with yet.
I agree completely. I think if Pat Patterson delays a decision past signing day, Ole Miss is in serious trouble. I think a decision could come as early as this weekend. I don't expect it because I expect Pat to take his 4th visit to Tennessee next weekend, but there is that possibility. And now his teammate Deontay Skinner is a Mississippi State commitment, an outside linebacker prospect, a guy that the Rebel staff has kind of been working hard on lately, and they got him in for a visit. Where do you see our chances with Deontay?
I really don't see him that well. I think he's going up at State. It's a weird thing with Deontay, too. He was going to go to Mississippi State and Auburn as his last 2 visits. He canceled the Auburn visit yesterday, the day before. He's going to come to Ole Miss this weekend, but really got to find out what his intentions are. Is he just coming to hang out with his buddy Pat for a week, or is he considering Ole Miss? Next week he goes to Mississippi State, and I look at that to probably be it, even though he is in town this weekend.
Absolutely. I think it's still a long shot on Deontay Skinner, but a shot nonetheless. Now let's move to a big-time prospect who's on campus in defensive end Craig Drummond. He's the number 7 defensive end prospect nationally, according to ESPN Scouts Inc., and he is a member of the very prestigious ESPNU Top 150. Chase, he's been committed to Illinois for quite some time. There were some issues with his grades. He's already graduated high school and wanted to enroll at Illinois early, and now that doesn't look like the case, and it seems like the Rebels made a big push for him.
I think they've got him because he does want to admit early. He wants to go to school right now and start in January. Drummond, I believe he has a 2.5 GPA or so and a 22 in his ACT. So you would think Ole Miss has got a really good shot at getting him in and getting him committed, because the way the semester is, it starts rolling on. If he doesn't go to Ole Miss, I don't see him getting anywhere for this semester.
Certainly. And now I want to talk about a prospect that I'm very high on, a tight end prospect from Brentwood, Tennessee, in the greater Nashville area, Zacchaeus Mason. Here's a player that has just exploded onto the recruiting scene in recent weeks. He's had roughly 25 to 30 basketball offers throughout the entire process, but just recently decided he was going to play football and not basketball in college. He's got offers from Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Memphis, but it's really just Ole Miss and Tennessee that it's coming down to. Zacchaeus Mason just made a jump from an unranked prospect to the 91st prospect overall in the ESPNU 150 rankings, and the number 2 tight end prospect. Ken Austin seems to like him a lot. Do you like Zacchaeus Mason?
Oh, I do. I love Zacchaeus Mason. You know, just an absolute athlete. There may be some rough edges you have to define because he hasn't played football forever,
right,
and it's been such a basketball prospect. But he is. He's just an absolute athlete. He can play probably immediately or right after that. And with the tight ends Ole Miss already has on campus, that's a loaded position, as Ole Miss really has a shot to become tight end use here in the next couple of years. His mother is going to come with him to Oxford, and I think that's a big key. I don't believe she went to Knoxville last week, so I really do. I like Ole Miss's chances with ESPNU 150 recruit Zacchaeus Mason.
He's a very good prospect. And now let's flip back over to the defensive side real quick and talk about another player that I'm very high on, Alex Williams. He's a defensive end, kind of hybrid outside linebacker prospect from Tallahassee, Florida, and Florida A&M University High School. He's not a junior college prospect, but his high school is the same as the university down there. I think he's a player that's very high on the Rebels board because he could potentially fill one of their 2 needs. You know, Ole Miss has got to sign another defensive lineman. They need to sign at least one more linebacker, and it's 6'4", 199 pounds. Alex Williams is kind of that rangy athlete that could play with his hand on the ground, or he could play in space as an outside linebacker. I really like the Rebels' chances with him.
They're really going to pursue him this weekend. I look for a hard push for Alex Williams. He went to Arkansas and really liked it, named Arkansas as leader, but I think it's just because that was the visit he took. He hasn't been to Ole Miss yet. I really like Ole Miss's shot with Alex Williams, and also another defensive player and linebacker, Mike Maury.
Yes.
Maury, he likes Duke a little bit. He likes Ole Miss, and he said that this could be his last visit if he likes the Rebels. So I think that is a tip and kind of showing his hand a little bit. He might go to West Virginia next weekend, but if he likes Ole Miss, I can see a commitment very soon out of a very intelligent guy in Mike Maury.
Absolutely, a very smart prospect in Mike Maury, and a wild card could be the fact that he's from Largo High School in Florida, the same high school that produced Ole Miss star player Dexter McCluster. And I know that Dexter's been recruiting him a whole bunch, so things look pretty good for Mike Mari. But Duke is still a wild card because academics are so important. I think a 3.75 GPA for Mari, so he's certainly going to consider some of those schools. Two prospects that aren't here this weekend that were expected to be here is David Connor from South Panola High School in Batesville, Mississippi, and Shane Gordon, a linebacker prospect from Cypress Bay down in Florida. Chase, are they off the board at this point?
Well, Connor was supposed to visit Ole Miss. There was rumors of maybe a walk-on spot for David Connor being so close by, and he did like the Rebels a lot. But late last night, I see where he committed to UAB with probably a full offer. So if that's the case, I definitely think he's a Blazer and he's off the board. Shane Gordon, I think he was just down the list a little bit, and he wasn't really giving Ole Miss a very fuzzy feeling right now as far as getting that guy. With Mike Mari and those linebackers, it was just one of those things where save the visit, give it to somebody who you probably got a shot with, and now I believe he's headed to Tennessee this weekend.
And I think that he's looking at a couple of Big East schools as well, in addition to Tennessee. West Virginia, Pittsburgh has been on Shane Gordon real hard, and he's a talented linebacker prospect. ESPNU, Scouts Inc. think very highly of him. Just kind of quickly here to wrap things up, we're going to hit on a couple of prospects. Jesse Grandy, the cornerback prospect from Arkansas. I know you spent a couple, called him a couple times on the phone, talked to Jesse a good bit. Where do you think he stands in his recruitment right now?
I think he's supposed to see Ole Miss. He went to Arkansas. Wasn't necessarily crazy about it. Had a good time, but if Ole Miss makes a big push, and he's the number one cornerback on their board right now,
Absolutely.
they've got a good shot at Grandy as well.
Definitely. And just a few last guys to touch on quickly. Taj Jones, a linebacker prospect from Sulphur Springs, Louisiana. We hear rumors that he has a gray shirt offer from LSU. If that ever becomes a full offer, Taj Jones is probably the Bayou Bengals to lose. But Ole Miss still feels like they have a pretty good shot, especially getting him in for a visit this weekend. And then just kind of lastly here, Corey Gaines. He's a defensive tackle prospect, also from Tallahassee, Florida, from Godby High School down there. He's visited Arkansas already, also likes the Hogs. He's got Ole Miss this weekend and Auburn next weekend. Do the Rebels have any shot at Corey Gaines?
They have a good shot at him. They're going to pursue him hard. You really just don't know with him. He's not saying a lot. He liked Arkansas. I think it's one of those big guys to watch as Sunday rolls around and you get those post-visit interviews to see what he's thinking.
Absolutely. Well, that is it for the Friday report here on InsideTheGrove.com. Check back on Monday for the Monday report where we will recap the entire weekend in Rebel recruiting. And lastly, a special thanks to our cameraman, Eric Lind.